Assalamualaikum and good morning to one and all. Welcome back to my second experiment, that is commonly used instrument in experimental pharmacology. I am Professor Sheikh Abu Sufyan. Welcome you to my YouTube channel Pharma Learning. At the end of this e-learning session, you are able to identify commonly used instruments and their applications in experimental pharmacology. So let's start with first instrument which is needed for recording contraction of the muscle. So this is the basic instrument for recording contraction of the muscle. So the name of the instrument, it is the chemograph machine. So now you can just look at the image. The complete setup of chemograph machine, it is shown in this image. So the chemograph machine, it consists of the rotating drum. So this part of the setup, it is called as the rotating drum. It also consists of the organ bath. So the second setup, so this complete setup, it is called as the organ bath with thermostat. Third one, it is the aeration tube. So I will show you separately how aeration tube it's look, because now it is immersed in this organ bath or the tissue bath. Next one, it is the recording lever. Now you can see this horizontal portion over here. So this portion, it is called as the recording lever. And fourth part, it is the PSS reservoir. So PSS, it means it is the physiological salt solution. So the reservoirs or the container which is used for storing the physiological salt solution, it is called as the PSS reservoir. So this portion, it is nothing but a PSS reservoir of chemograph machine. So this basic setup, it is needed to record the contraction of different muscles like the cochleum. So we mount that cochleum in this organ tissue, and we need this complete setup to record the contraction of those tissue by using chemograph machine. So let's see one by one the role of each part of chemograph machine. So first part, it is the digital chemograph machine with rotating drum. Now what you see in the image, it is nothing but a rotating drum, but it is digital one. So what digital platform it is provided in this machine? It is where they have provided the digital panel for setting the rotation per minute, that is the RPM. So you can select different RPM based on your type of experiment you are doing or type of tissue you are using, right? Likewise, this digital panel, digital reading, it also show you the time for which you are starting the drum, for how much time you are starting the drum. So depending upon the type of tissue you are using, you take response sometime for 30 seconds, sometime you take response for 1 minute. So the moment you switch on this button, it will start measuring the time. So it will start with the 0, and the moment it reach to the 60 second, that indicate that your 1 minute it is over. So once you take the response, suppose your response of 1 minute, if it is recorded on digital chemograph machine, then now you can stop this digital rotating drum by using same button. Okay, so you can start or you can stop the drum by using this panel. Likewise, you can also measure the time. So there is no need to use separate stopwatch to record time for which you are taking the response. So that time it is shown on this digital panel. Okay, so this is the first part of chemograph machine. It is called as digital chemograph machine with rotating drum. Second part, it is the organ bath with thermostat. Now here, in case of the organ bath, there is provision for temperature regulation. So now the thermostat, the temperature knob it is given, that can be adjusted at the required temperature. So generally in case of the bioassay of organ or the tissue, you need to set the temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, because the tissue, when you are removed from the body, if you want to keep it alive with their proper physiology, then you need to maintain the body temperature, because in the animal like cochleum or any living system, so the general temperature which is body temperature present, it is 37 degrees Celsius. So to maintain that body temperature, you are using this thermostat. So generally in the environment like the Mumbai, where the room temperature it is the generally plus and minus 37 degrees Celsius, if that is the case, then thermostat it is not required. Whereas if you are doing this experiment in some extreme condition like Himachal and somewhere their temperature it is very less, then in that case you need to set this thermostat. Okay, so organ bath, it consists of the thermostat. Then second portion, it is the outer jacket, which is made up of the perspex or it is made up of the acrylic. Okay, so this is called as the outer organ bath. So since you are using thermostat, so in outer organ bath you are adding water. So this water it is heated at 37 degrees Celsius to maintain temperature which is needed for that particular tissue. So the organ bath consists of the outer jacket. In addition to this, it also consists of the inner organ bath. Now what tube you see here, it is called as the inner organ bath, which is made having different capacity from the 15 ml to 20 ml of the internal organ bath. Why you are using this? What you are doing, you remove the tissue, and that tissue it is mounted on that oxygen tube that I will show you in the next slide. And after mounting in the oxygen tube, you can simply immerse that oxygen tube along with the tissue in this organ bath. Internal tissue organ bath, you remember that you are not adding the water. What you are adding is you are adding physiological salt solution. So the physiological salt solution, it is a typical salt solution which having the composition is needed for that tissue to keep that tissue alive. For example, when that tissue, if it is present in the body different salts are present like NaCl, KCl, and this salt help to maintain that tissue alive. So when you remove that tissue from outside the body, so you have sacrificed the hen, and from hen you have removed the cock, and you are mounting now that hen inside this tissue bath. So to summarize, the organ bath consists of the thermostat which help to maintain the body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius. It consists of outer jacket, in which what you are adding the water which help you to again maintain the temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, because with the help of this thermostat and the water that you have added, you are maintaining the temperature. And second thing that is present is or internal organ bath. So this is all about the organ bath with thermostat. Next part, it is aeration tube or oxygen tube. So now what you see here in the image, it is a simple glass tube, and sometimes it is also made up of the metal like stainless steel. So you are using this glass tube, right? And from this portion of the glass tube, you are providing provision for aeration. So you are using the aerator, or even simple fish aquarium aerator can be used. So with the help of that aerator, the gas it is pumped from this simple aeration tube, and since you are immersing this inside physiological salt solution, you can see very nice bubble which come after starting that aeration tube. So when you are removing the tissue, now that tissue by using thread you can mount on this aeration tube. So you can mount something like this. Now you assume that this is the tissue, right? So here with the help of thread you are tying this tissue, and second thread you are tying with your lever. Okay, so here somewhere lever will come, and on the lever you are tying that second thread. So we'll see at the end how complete setup is there. Okay, so with the help of thread you are mounting that on a aeration tube, and you are immersing this aeration tube into a internal tissue or organ bath. And what is another thing it is there? It is the aeration you have provided. So you are also providing oxygen to keep that tissue alive. So this is the role of the aeration tube or oxygen tube, which is help you to mount the tissue as well as to provide the oxygen which is needed for the tissue. Okay, so we have done with the aeration tube and oxygen tube. Next part, it is a recording lever. So the recording lever, it is of the different type depending upon type of experiment you perform. So first we will see what are different types of recording levers. So first type of recording lever, it is a isotonic. So isotonic type recording lever. So in case of isotonic, the name itself indicates that what is constant? The tone is constant. Okay. So the tone or pressure that you use, it is constant. Whereas what is going to change? The length of tissue, it is going to change. So since the tone it is constant and length of tissue is going to change due to the contraction or relaxation. For example, when tissue or the cork ileum, when it is present in their original size, so this is the size of the cork ileum, right? When you have added the any drug like acetylcholine, so acetylcholine it produces the contraction of the smooth muscle or the hen ileum, it get contracted. So when it get contracted, the size of the tissue it is reduced, right? So what is happening during the contraction, the size of tissue get reduced due to the process of contraction. Okay, now when the tissue it relax, again size of tissue it restored to their normal position. So this size of the tissue it is when the tissue it is contracted in presence of the drug like acetylcholine. So whenever there is contraction, the tissue size it is decreased, right? And whenever there is relaxation, there is increase in the size of the tissue. So what you did in this experiment by using isotonic lever, you have maintained the same tone, whereas the length of tissue it is changed, and depending upon change in the length of the tissue, the response it is recorded on the chemograph paper. So here you can see whenever there is contraction, what will happen, this lever it is called as the frontal lighting lever, or and it is, what is the type of this lever, it is having the isotonic nature. So isotonic nature means tone is constant and size of tissue it is going to change. So when size of tissue it is going to change, now suppose if this is the tissue and when this is mounted on this lever, right? Now when this tissue get contracted, it will pull this lever up. So now instead of this horizontal position, now lever will move something like this. So it go in inclined position because due to contraction it has pulled this lever. Okay, and this drum it is also recording. Drum is also moving, or it is moving in a circular direction. Okay, with particular speed or with particular RPM, that is rotation per minute. So when this is happen, and when the drum it is moving at this time, now suppose this is the baseline response is there, when the tissue it is contracted, now due to pulling of the lever, now reading it is recorded something like this. Okay, the moment you record this your recording, or the moment you have done with your recording, you can stop the drum, and once you stop the drum, you can put the different tension that you are applied, that is the basal tension down, then it will get the response recorded something like this. Once again you can take the baseline, and again you can give next dose of the acetylcholine. Suppose initially you are given 0.1 ml, now you can give the 0.2 ml. So again that response it is recorded something like this, right? So as you increase the dose, there is increase in the response. It is recorded with the help of this frontal writing lever, right? So to record that response, what you are doing is you add here sketch pen tip. So simply you remove sketch pen tip and you are adding that sketch pen tip over here, right? And you are making contact of that sketch pen tip with on this chemograph paper. So this white color paper, now you can see this is the lever which is attached, and this is the sketch pen tip, and the sketch pen tip, the tip it is in contact with the rotating drum, so that the response can be recorded. So whatever response, the lever that we are using in case of recording the simple contraction of the muscle, it is the isotonic in nature. Whereas in other type of practical, you need the second type of lever, that is called as isometric lever. Okay. So what is isometric lever? So it is exactly opposite to the isotonic. Isotonic, what was constant? The tone is constant. Okay. Whereas in isometric, now the constant it is the tissue length. So tissue length it is going to be constant in case of isometric lever. So since here tissue length is constant, it is called as isometric, whereas tension is going to change. So the difference between isotonic and isometric is that isotonic the tone is constant, isometric tissue length is constant. Whereas in isotonic the tissue length it is going to change, increase or decrease depending upon contraction and relaxation. Whereas in case of isometric, the tissue length, it is going to remain same. So what you are measuring the tension which is created on that particular lever. Okay, so I hope you understand the role of the recording lever, which is used to record the contraction of the muscles. Next one, it is the physiological salt solution reservoir. So it is a simple reservoir. You can use any type of vessel. So I have used this setup. The funnel it is there so that you can add physiological salt solution as and when required. And here the stopper it is given. So with the help of this stopper, when you open this stopper, there will be flow of physiological salt solution from this reservoir into the internal tissue organ bar, because every time you need to give the washing to the tissue. So whenever you are giving the washing, existing physiological salt solution which was there in contact with the tissue, that you are removing or that you are discarding. So whenever you discard that, now again you need to refill by using this stopper. So you can just open this stopper so that the physiological salt solution can move from reservoir into the internal tissue or internal organ bar. Okay, so this is the role of physiological salt solution. So you are using just to store the PSS, and as and when it is needed, you can move that PSS into internal organ bath. So this is basic setup which is needed to perform the experiment on the contraction of the muscle. So you can study the acetylcholine because acetylcholine, it produces a contraction of the very good contraction of the cochleum, and you can see how there is change in the response when you change the different concentration of the acetylcholine. So generally with help of this chemograph machine, the outcome of the graph, it is something like this. Okay, so I'm just showing you so that you will get idea. So maybe this is the first dose, that is 0.1 ml. This is second dose, that is 0.2 ml. This third dose, that is 0.4 ml. So you can go on increasing the dose so that you will come to know what happened when you increase the dose, right? So you can see here, as you have increases the dose, there is increase in a response that is recorded. And what you are recording, you are basically recording the contraction of that particular muscle. So this indicate that as you increase the dose, there is increase in the contraction of the muscle. And if that is the case, this type of bioassay we have seen in the last session, that it is called as graded bioassay. So you can record a nice graded bioassay by using this basic setup of chemograph machine. So to summarize, it consists of a digital rotating drum, right? It consists of the student organ bath or tissue organ bath, which consists of the outer covering to keep the water. It consists of the thermostat to maintain body temperature at 37 degrees Celsius. It also consists of internal organ tube where you are immersing the tissue in presence of physiological salt solution. Next we have seen it is the lever. So we are using frontal writing lever. What is the nature of the lever here? It is the isotonic in nature. Okay. So I have done with my first part of the session. So before going ahead with the second part, let's have quick question and answer session through chat box. So my first question is, give requirement of basic setup needed for recording contraction of muscle by using chemograph machine. Yes. So let's see who give first answer. I want each student to give answer in the chat box. Very good. Irshad has written the first answer. Very good, Irshad. What about others? I hope you are active and listening to my session. Okay, so Irshad has mentioned it is rotating drum, organ bath with thermostat, aeration tube, recording tube, and PSS reservoir. Very nice, Irshad. You have written or you have summarized all the requirement which is needed for doing experiment on chemograph machine. Very nice. Sania has also written the answer. Asma, Faiza, Naval, Mansi, Shruti, Okay, Sheikh Aman, Sana, Soleha. I have not seen answer from Aisha, Jeethal Lal, Zareen. Okay, Minaz has also written the answers. Okay, fine. My next question is, what is use of organ bath? Come on. So we have seen the multiple uses of organ bath. What is use of organ bath? Okay, Faiza has written first answer. Very good, Faiza. She has mentioned that it provides space for mounting tissue and provide oxygen. You are very right, Faiza. One more thing we have seen in case of organ bath. Okay, Irshad has mentioned that organ bath used to keep the tissue alive. Okay. Ashraf has mentioned it is used to keep organ alive throughout the experiment. Yes, so Faiza Sania has again written the second important purpose of organ bath, that is for maintaining the temperature at 37 degrees Celsius. Very good, Faiza, very good, Sania. So it is used to maintain the body temperature by with the help of thermostat at 37 degrees Celsius. And second important thing is you are immersing tissue and you are adding physiological salt solution into it so that oxygen and as well as the required salt can be provided in the form of PSS. Okay, very good. My third question is, what is the role of recording lever? What is the role of recording lever? So answer it is hidden in the question itself. What is the role of recording lever? Okay, so Irshad is first to give the answer. Okay, it record the contraction. Does it record only the contraction? Okay, Arshia has mentioned it is used to record the contraction and relaxation of muscle or the tissue. Very nice, Arshia. So it is used to record both contraction as well as relaxation. But what is reflected on the graph, it is basically the contraction. So height of the graph, it is proportional to the contraction of the muscle. So more is the contraction, more is the height of that particular response. Okay. Very nice. Tasneen has also mentioned. Okay. So very good. So it seems you all are active. So let's move on to the next part of the session. So in my next part of the session, we'll see instruments which are used for evaluation of in vivo experiment. So till now what instrument we have seen, it is just to evaluate in vitro response or ex vivo response of the isolated cock ileum by using chemograph machine. Okay. Now onward, in my session, you will see the name of the instrument and you need to remember their application and type of drug that can be evaluated by that instrument. I'm not going into detail of the principle of that experiment. So the detailed principle or the working principle of that particular instrument, you will be studying when you study that individual experiment. Okay. So don't worry that I am not going into detail of the principle. So because there is separate experiments are there where you are going to study the detailed principle. So at the glance, you need to remember the name of the instrument, what is its application, and tentatively you must remember that which drug that can be evaluated by using by that particular instrument. So let's start with the first instrument, that is the hot plate analgesiometer. Now name indicate that it is the analgesiometer. So what will be the application? So the application of analgesiometer is for studying analgesic activity of the drug. So the drug which reduces the algesia or which reduces the pain. So it's come from this word algesic. So the drug which reduces the pain are called as analgesic drug. So with the help of hot plate analgesiometer, you can study analgesic activity of the drug. So which drug they having analgesic activity? So the drug which having analgesic activity are of two type. One, it is the narcotic analgesic. So example of the drug belong to the class of narcotic analgesic. It is the morphine. And second drug, it is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So the drug belong to the category of the NSAID. It is the aspirin. So likewise, there are many drugs are there. So I have quoted just one example of the drug belong to each category. So the point to be remembered in case of hot plate analgesiometer, what is the application? It is used for studying analgesic activity of the drug. Which drug you can evaluate? You can evaluate both narcotic analgesic as well as non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Okay. Second instrument, it is electroconvulsometer. Now what this indicate? What name is indicate? Now very easy to remember. For every instrument, there is particular name. Based on that name, you can remember what type of activity can be measured by using this instrument. So by using electroconvulsometer, you are measuring the convulsion, right? So which type of activity you can study? So the application of electroconvulsometer is, it is used for studying anticonvulsion activity by using MES induced convulsion. So the application it is used, it is used for studying anticonvulsion activity by using MES, that is maximum electroshock induced convulsion. So basically this instrument, it help you to provide current for particular time interval which is suitable to induce the convulsion. So the current, it is one of the way to induce the convulsion. So you are providing electrical current by using electroconvulsometer, right? So example of the drug including phenytoin. So phenytoin, it is very good anticonvulsant drug. So many anticonvulsant drug which are effective against tonic-clonic convulsion, which is also called as the grand mal epilepsy. So it is one of the type of epilepsy. So you will be studying that in a detail in the anticonvulsant chapter, which is there in the pharmacology subject. Okay. So the drug you are evaluating, it is the phenytoin. Okay, how you are producing the convulsion? You are giving small current, and with the help of current, you are giving the convulsion. So it is called as MES convulsion, so, or it is also called as maximum electroshock induced convulsion. So electroconvulsometer, to summarize, it is used to study anticonvulsion activity. An example of the drug which is evaluated, it is the phenytoin. Next instrument, it is actophotometer. So actophotometer, here you cannot guess on the basis of the name, but do remember that in this instrument or with the help of this instrument, you are studying both CNS stimulant and CNS depressant activity. So this instrument help you to measure locomotor activity. So locomotor activity means it is the motion of the animal. Okay. So it is help you to measure locomotor activity. Now you tell me, when you have given CNS stimulant drug, what will happen to the locomotor activity or movement of the animal? The movement of animal will increase. And when you give CNS depressant drug, which induces the sleep, the movement of the animal will decrease, right? So if there is more movement of animal there in this activity cage, so you have to keep animal inside this activity cage, and if there is more movement is there, so more reading will be recorded. Okay, so that indicate that the drug, it is CNS stimulant in nature. Likewise, if less movement of animal is there inside activity cage, right, so the score become less, so less score will be reflected on this digital panel, and that indicate that the drug, it is CNS depressant drug. So let's see the one example of each category of the drug that can be evaluated by using actophotometer. So the CNS stimulant drug you can evaluate, it is the caffeine. So the caffeine, it is well known CNS stimulant drug, and CNS depressant drug that you can evaluate, it is the diazepam. Okay. Next instrument, it is the rotarod apparatus. So now you can see simply here there is presence of the rod, and this rod it is keep on rotating, so at different speed. So with the help of this instrument you can set up the speed as per your protocol, and you can keep animal on this rotating rod. Okay, so when the muscle of animal it is relaxed, what will happen? There will be loss of grip strength, and due to loss of grip strength, that animal will not stay for more time on the rotating rod. So that animal will fall down quickly, and that time of fall down of animal will be recorded in each chamber. Okay, so for every chamber there is separate, or every compartment there is separate digital panel is given, so you can keep that many number of animals. So here you can keep one animal, here you can keep one animal. So the moment it fall down, it will stop the recording. Okay, so this is used to measure the muscle relaxant activity of the drug. So the less time if animal it is spent on the rotating rod, that indicate the relaxation of the muscles. If more time the animal it is staying on the rotating rod, that indicate that the less relaxation of the muscle. So you can evaluate different muscle relaxant drug, for example the diazepam, by using rotarod apparatus. Last instrument it is the Cook pole climbing apparatus. The application it is used for studying cognitive function. The cognitive means the function which is related to the learning and memory, especially in case of antipsychotic drugs. So most of the time antipsychotic drug, the cognitive functions are impaired. You can use this model also to study the antidepressant activity. Okay, so simply what you are doing, you are giving two type of stimulus. One it is conditional stimulus, where there is a sound followed by unconditional stimulant like electrical current. Okay, so the moment the animal listen the sound, he learn that he has to climb his pole. If he doesn't climb the pole, there will be the current, right? So to save from the current, what animal will do, the moment animal listen to the sound, immediately he will move and climb the pole, right? And those animal whose memory it is affected, or they are suffering from the deficiency of intellectual ability or memory impairment, those animal even after listening to the sound, they will not climb the pole. So that indicate that the animal, the learning ability it is reduced. Okay, so the drug can be evaluated are the chlorpromazines. I have given just one example of the drug. Likewise many drug can be evaluated by using Cook pole climbing apparatus. So what is the application? For studying the cognitive function, especially in case of antipsychotic drug. So I have done with my today's session. Thanks for watching the session. For more such learning, subscribe to my channel, and if you like my session, then do remember to give me a thumbs up.